Let me run you through what it takes to start an agency. This is going to be a very broad overview topic because I haven't got like 13 days straight to kind of run you through exactly what you need to do. But if you follow these steps, you will be successful with whatever kind of agency model that you go for. Hello, my name is Daniel Spence and I run Automation X, which is an automation agency that builds really cool automations and lead generation. The first thing to decide on is like, what are you going to sell? Is it going to be leads? Is it going to be automations, which we sell leads and automations? Are you going to implement CRMs in? Are you going to implement sales teams? Are you going to implement VAs? Like, what is it that you're going to sell? I mean, all of those, I know people that are doing multi-six figures with, every single one of them. So really it's kind of a bit limitless. Like, leads are easy to sell, automations are fairly easy to sell. CRM, it's just a case of getting really good at one thing. And I think quite a lot of agency owners get distracted and they're like, oh, I've seen this video about database reactivation, I'm going to do that and build these automations and do Facebook ads and do Google ads. And like, how are you ever expected to be any good at that when it's just one individual doing it? If you've got like a whole entire team and each person specialises in that, you're brilliant. But that's something you can add on as an add-on once you've got this main product that works. Like, you don't just try and sell everything to anyone. And yeah, I think that comes down to it a lot. It's just like, work out what it is that you're going to sell. What are you good at already? What would you like to be good at? What skills are going to be around? The reason I went into AI and automation is because we're in this perfect place now where AI is so new to the market, nobody's really using it. And off the back of that, there's consulting opportunities and things like that that appear. But as a whole, automations and stuff like that are completely overlooked. There's so much market growth there, and I thought that would be a brilliant space to end up in. The lead generation side of it, I did because off the back of a load of automations that were built for clients, we were able to automate whole entire lead generation processes. And now I can plug you in to our lead generation system and you'll be booking meetings by the end of the week. But I only did that because of the automation. So now I do have a two-tier side of it, and we've got the automation side nailed. I've got 4 people who build automations for me all day, every day. And the lead generation stuff, I literally just plug in and then we're like off to the races. Like, done. So yeah, really happy with that. And then we can therefore pivot to lead generation. So yeah, that's just like, pick something and double down on it. And once you've nailed that, then you can kind of lift your head up to look around for a little bit. But honestly, I would just pick one thing and stick with it. How to offer that? I mean, there's 2 sides of this. So there's who you're offering it to. I'll come on to more on this on the next slide. But when you're creating an offer, you want to sell the end result. This is where most people get like a bit distracted and kind of, if you're selling automations, you're selling them hours of time back. You're selling them literally days of their workforce's time back to do more important stuff. Like, that's just incredible. And what an incredible thing you can offer. You're literally offering people one of the finite things that they've got. The other side of it is, like, you can argue that there's going to be more revenue generated and all of that kind of stuff, which is very true. But it's about what you're selling as the end result. Like, nobody wants to buy an AI automation off me, but they're quite interested in the idea of AI doing a load of work for them so they get some time back. But frame it in that point of view. Like, sell the end result of it. Okay, and now your next part is going to be perfecting the delivery. So once you pick the niche and what you're going to sell, you've also picked who you're going to sell it to and what you're going to offer. This is now when you can actually start to get some clients and be able to deliver on these promises that you're making. So delivery and your product is actually one of the hardest bits to get right. Like, once you've worked out how to get some clients, like, it's just a case of like rinsing and repeating it. Like, we've got multiple meetings every single day, so it doesn't bother us at all. It's not something that we're remotely concerned about. But the product side of it, which we haven't nailed as well, but initially we didn't, and building these automations was difficult and time consuming and stuff like that. It was a real bottleneck because we were spending like weeks on these automations because we weren't any good at it. That's now drastically changed, but you weren't able to keep a client on because it was taking 2 weeks for you to deliver an automation that should have taken 3 days. And and you quit in 3 days because you know it should have taken 3 days, and then some API failed or whatever. Now we can rattle them out in an afternoon, 2 days, 3 days, and it's very realistic with the time frames that we've got. But basically, don't ignore this part. It's going to be something that you're tempted to kind of like just jump in the front end and be bringing loads of people in and selling them stuff, but necessarily not actually getting them any results. So that's kind of a bit of a difficult situation. So the first thing I would do is research the industry, find out what their problems are, and this kind of links to what you're offering them. Find out what it is that their problems are, what they're struggling with, what you can help do, and I guarantee you there'll be a solution out there. It might not be easy to find, it might be a complete nightmare to find. However, like, you will be able to go to the market and find a solution somewhere. Maybe you have to watch 20 hours of YouTube to find out how they solve a little bit of it and do a million reps in order to get any good. But you can go and do that. It's really not that difficult. And then once you've got this, the rest falls into place. Your offer's so much better because you know what you're doing, you know what you want, and you know how to solve that for them. It's just, this is like the bit that if you get this right, everything else fits into place. But on that note, basically research, pick an industry, and I would personally go for one that you know. It might be something that you did at a last job, even if it's like, oh, I washed pots at a local restaurant. I guarantee you know more than most people do about restaurants. And that is crazy, but if you think about it, how many people end up with a job in restaurants? Probably more than actually, like, literally pretty much any other job. But if you're able to, if you know about retail car parts or Amazon or something, pick that industry. You know what the problems are already, and you might not necessarily know how to solve them, but you speak the lingo, you understand what they're doing. This is much easier if you've been in an industry for like 20 years. You can just turn around and be like, oh yeah, this was a massive pain for us at one point, probably somebody else is struggling with that problem. Oh, we solved it, here's the solution. And that is extremely valuable. And I've added on here, pick an industry you know, they all suck, which is very, very true. Like, I am yet to meet a single person who's picks their industry and goes, oh yeah, this is amazing, and doesn't like look over there and go, oh yeah, the grass is way greener. It's just part of the game. Like, real estate sucks, med spa sucks, what else, like super yacht rentals sucks. Like, whatever you pick is terrible, but if you're able to solve their problem, then it's so easy to kind of like keep it going. Like, it's more about the product and the delivery of your solution than it is the industry and what the problem is. But be prepared to kind of like, don't shove a solution into a market. Don't go to car detailing and be like, look, these guys want more appointments and want to be able to sell wax services, and this is how they do it. Let me go to real estate agents and see if I can solve that problem for them, because they're not going to be interested in booking like appointments to clean people's cars. And yeah, there might be some stuff that overlaps, but please just don't go and pick a solution and then try and force it into the market, because it just won't work. And then you'll be stuck spinning your wheels. So I would recommend do as much research as you can, but realistically, the biggest thing you can do is get a client. And if you've picked an industry that you know already, then this is actually fairly straightforward as well, because you're able to, you know people in the industry, you can reach out to people, you can tell them what you're up to, you might have built previous relationships and stuff, and just be like, look, I'm happy to kind of test this, try this with you, make it as risk-free as possible, but get that first client. And be prepared to do whatever it takes to make it work. I'm talking like, stay up all night, staring at Facebook ads, back end, being like, why isn't this working? Doing all of the research, doing loads and loads and loads more hours, because that one first client, if you get it right, first off, it will be a miracle. But you will learn way, way more from that first client than anything else. It's like failing your driving test. It's probably the best driving lesson you will ever have, because you learn what the test looks like, how it works, what you did wrong, and kind of like what they're looking for, what they're not looking for, all of the pointers that they give you, like literally everything, just by failing your driving test. So go, I'm not saying go take somebody's money and then deliberately fail for them. But try as hard as you damn can, because worst case you'll pass the driving test and you'll be off to the races anyway. Worst case you fail the driving test, but you have learned so much off the back of it. And then once you've nailed your offer, you're able to book appointments because your offer is really good and your product's really good. You then move on to systems. So this is the back end of it. This is the bit that people don't really talk about. This is the sales, this is the onboarding, this is the delivery, this is implementing VAs, this is kind of like building systems that scale themselves. Because realistically, if you get that first client and it takes you 2 weeks to get them onboarded, non-stop, you don't do anything different, nothing new, you literally, all you do is onboard people. In those 2 weeks you won't have made another sale because you haven't had time to do sales calls or you won't outreach or anything like that. And then that creates bottlenecks for you. So that means you can take 2 people on, but if you can hire a VA to do half of that, you can now take 4 people on. Admittedly, you probably still need some time for sales, so let's call it 3.5. But then all of a sudden it starts to scale. So think about what automations and systems you can put in place. So that might be the case of like implementing instantly as your cold email tool, so there's always cold emails going out. Brilliant, that's a really high leverage thing to do. Plug that in, sit back, crack on with onboarding these clients and more will just start to appear. Brilliant. There's also systems around sales and increasing your close rate and stuff like that, but basically it's a case of finding your bottleneck and like throwing everything you've got at it in the hopes that one of these things solves those problems, and then you're able to just kind of like scale and move to the next thing and move to the next problem and move to the next problem. Like we've got full-blown onboarding systems, we've got sales systems, we've got scaling systems, we've got delivery systems, we've got VAs, all just to kind of keep us growing and keep the company going. Ideally, well, we're on an automation agency, so as much as that we can automate, we can. We do, just because the amount of hours and time that you save. But we honestly have a team of like 35 people that work under us now, whether that's cold calling, commission earning cold callers, all the way through to kind of like sales reps, all the way through to people building the automations, which is just crazy. That's like a whole class full of kids. They're not all kids, they're all adults, but it's mind-boggling to think that me at the age of 24 in my bedroom was able to build a team of 30 people that are out there making themselves money and making us money. Anyway, rant for another day, but just think about these systems and put them in place. It'll be quite obvious where your next bottleneck is. Most people, the first thing they struggle with is getting leads, but once you nail that, it's literally a case of just doing more of what works. The other thing is the actual service delivery. That's normally a system that kind of you want to implement as soon as possible. Like I know a guy doing about 60k a month, and all he does is loads up the exact same Facebook ads, changes the location, changes the percentage return, and that's it. Like each client he can get onboarded in 2 hours. It's like, what? If your system's not that streamlined as 2 hours worth of work and then going in every week to check that everything's okay and go through the stuff, like what are you playing at? So I mean, even if you're setting up whole entire cold calling systems and implementing teams on it and they all need training and stuff like that, then how much of that can you automate? How many videos can you make for the training so that then you don't have to spend any time doing it? You film it once and then there you go. What's to stop AI writing out the scripts for you? The sky's the limit with this stuff, and I think we're in a beautiful place now where we're on the curve of this AI stuff, and if you can implement as much as you can now and plug those systems in, it's just going to be like you'll ride the wave, and it's only going to be a tsunami. There's only one way it will go. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope this was all helpful. If you've got any questions, as always, drop us a comment. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe.